Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Tuesday, the 13th of February. Good to have you aboard, part of the Believe Podcast Network, and presented as always by our title sponsor, everything ZASLOW Show 2.0. Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. Whatever kind of accident you're involved in, slip and fall, hit and run, motorcycle, I send you to where you're going to be treated like family, just like I was at the start of ZASLOW Show 2.0. All of this is possible because of Anidjar and Levine's support. Anidjar and Levine accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. Got a fun show planned today. I'm glad to have you starting your Tuesday with us here. And of course, got a few more things as far as the football is concerned, as far as the Super Bowl. I feel like usually, obviously the day after the Super Bowl, Monday, all Super Bowl reaction. And I also feel like Tuesday after the Super Bowl, you get a lot there too. You get you get the rest out of your system. And then by the Wednesday, you got to start moving forward. You can look back a little bit at the Super Bowl and the NFL and all that stuff, but you got to start moving this thing forward. No matter what, either way, Bet Online continues to be your number one source for all your wagering needs. Basketball, pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or your mobile devices. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. So, here's what we got today. It's Tuesday, so you know we got Twitter Jam, all right? And we got Heat basketball tonight. The Heat are in Milwaukee. Bucks, it'll be the second night of a back-to-back for them. For the Heat, no Terry Rozier, no Josh Richardson, no Jimmy Butler. Butler is still on leave. He's dealing with a death in the family. Lousy situation. I hope that works itself out. Well, it works itself out. If there's death in the family, there's no working itself out. But I hope that he starts feeling better sometime soon and gets back to the team. Josh Richardson, it seems to be a dislocated shoulder, right? We don't have a timetable there. But the good news, Terry Rozier, thank you, sweet baby Jesus. Terry Rozier, it is a sprained knee. He avoids any major injury. The MRI comes back as good as it could have possibly been. He's going to be reevaluated on a week-to-week basis. So that is very good news. And that obviously leads to the very real possibility that Rozier could be back shortly after the All-Star break. So it'd be like a total of 2 weeks he'd be out, but really like one of those weeks he didn't miss anything because of the break. That is very, very good news. Thank you, sweet baby Jesus. So he'll be back before you know it. Let's get to things that took place last night. So a few news and notes as far as things that took place last night. Now, not a good time with the pick and did not do well with the picks. Of course, every Monday I'm on Driving the Line, youtube.com/@DrivingTheLine. That's the brand new venture. Jonathan Coachman, my man, Alan Bell, AB. I'm with them on Mondays. I'm actually going to be hosting the show Thursday and Friday this week. But I'm with them every Monday. I did not do well with my picks last night. Overall, though, Kansas got killed. Number 6 Kansas got killed last night. Bill Self was thrown out of the game. First time in his career he's been thrown out of a game at Kansas. That was surprising to hear. Texas Tech won 79-50. As far as the NBA goes, few news and notes as far as the association. Philadelphia with a great win at Cleveland, 123-121. Buddy Hield had 24 points. And the Cavaliers have been playing as well as anybody in the league. We know Philadelphia is going to try and hang around until Embiid can come back. That was a huge win for them last night. How about the big controversy in the NBA last night? Houston beats New York 105-103. With the game tied at 103, Jalen Brunson gets called for a foul. Jalen Green chucks it up at the buzzer. They call a foul. Very questionable call, period, as far as the contact. But when you actually look at the play, I mean, Jalen Green he's like backpedaling. He's 5 feet behind the line. He throws it up with one hand, and they call a chintzy foul like that. Very tough to swallow if you're the New York Knicks. Goes to the line, makes 2 out of 3 free throws, game over. Rockets win 105-103. And here's the kicker. If that wasn't bad enough, pool reporter after the game caught up with the crew chief, Ed Malloy, who sucks. Ed Malloy stinks. Caught up with the crew chief, Ed Malloy, who then told the pool reporter, upon seeing the replay after the game, they blew it. That should not have been a foul. Oh, I'm sure the Knicks feel all better after that. This is why the NBA 2-minute report, which I assume will confirm what Ed Malloy admitted to there, the NBA 2-minute report is so stupid. Just like Ed Malloy telling the pool reporter after the game that they blew it is so stupid. It doesn't make anybody feel better. It doesn't change the outcome. It sucks. So, very controversial finish there last night in Houston. The Knicks lose that game. Milwaukee, Doc Rivers, back-to-back wins. The Bucks beat Denver 112-95. That was one of my picks. Nuggets were plus 1.5. Felt really good about it. They were never in it. Bucks blew them out really from start to finish. And how about the Golden State Warriors? The Warriors are playing very good basketball now. The Warriors win in Utah 129-107. I know Steve Kerr the other day said something to the effect of the Warriors, they feel like things are heading in the right direction now. They got a special group. And it seems really stupid to say something like that. But the Warriors have now won 5 in a row. And they are over 500. They're 10th in the West. I mean, if you don't get out of the play-in, you're facing one of the top 2 seeds come playoff time. If you really want to have a chance to make a little bit of noise in the West, you got to get out of the play-in. You really probably have to get to, I look at this Western Conference. It's a bloodbath. If you're in the play-in, so you're only going to be 7 or 8. Right now, you would face either Minnesota, who kicked the shit out of the Clippers last night, either Minnesota or Oklahoma City in the first round. And if you move all the way up to, let's say, number 6, well, number 3 right now is the LA Clippers. And if you were to move all the way up to number 5, okay, well, then your reward would be the world champion Denver Nuggets. This Western Conference is loaded. Look at the top 6 in the West right now. Minnesota, Oklahoma City, LA Clippers, Denver, New Orleans, Phoenix. There's one team that you're not afraid of there. It's New Orleans. That's it. Every other team there, you can legitimately look at it and say, these are top tier teams. And by the way, the Eastern Conference feels pretty loaded too. The top 2 teams, Boston and Cleveland's really good. I think New York is a big-time contender. I don't believe in Milwaukee, but they are 35-19. So really you got like top 3 or 4 in the East feel like big-time teams. In the West, it's top 5 or 6 you feel like it's big-time teams. So there you go. That's a little bit of what happened last night. So let's do a little bit of cleanup as far as the NFL and the Super Bowl is concerned. Still, the big story coming out of the Super Bowl, I told you, the biggest stories are Patrick Mahomes, where he belongs history-wise, and like I said yesterday, it's hard to believe he's ever going to catch Tom Brady at 7. If he has any chance of catching him, he had to win that game yesterday, Sunday, which of course he did. But it's still hard to believe he's going to catch him. Sunday's win was so important in regards to catching Brady because it allows Mahomes the opportunity now to do something Brady has never done, to do something Brady never will do, obviously, and to do something no one has ever done in the Super Bowl era, and that's a three-peat. That is something Mahomes will be able to, a notch on his belt, that he'll be able to say, I did this, Brady never did. And that's a big deal. Now, while maybe it's not the same as winning 7 Super Bowls, being the only player ever to win back-to-back-to-back, that would be enormous. And by the way, for all the Brady's the greatest, supporters, how about this one, which will never, ever change? At worst, it seems Mahomes is the second best ever. But how about Brady forever getting to tell everyone, he never lost to Mahomes. Never lost to him. Gave Mahomes his first ever playoff loss. And when they faced in the Super Bowl, beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Beat him down, right? Like, how good does that look for Brady? For anyone that wants to make the case about Brady forever being the greatest of all time, you talk about how amazing Patrick Mahomes is, that means shit to Brady. Like, that's a notch on Brady's belt where he's always going to be able to one-up Patrick Mahomes and all the Patrick Mahomes supporters. Like, how great does Brady look right about now? And it was Brady in his 40s that beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I mean, Brady, he's retired and still comes out smelling like roses. So that's the number one story, is Mahomes. But the number two story, and probably like right behind it, is Kyle Shanahan and the overtime stuff. So we talked a lot about it yesterday. I can't believe, I don't understand like these clips, and maybe the clips are being taken out of context, but the clips that I see of folks on television and they're just crushing Shanahan, not just, you can crush him for taking the ball first. I agree with that. But crushing Shanahan and the 49ers for not knowing the rules, for not knowing that the rule is different in overtime, I don't understand how no one checks these guys who are giving that opinion. Because, again, how the hell does it matter? How does it matter? Kyle Juszczyk, after the game, is saying he had no idea that if you score a touchdown, that the game keeps going. Number one, you didn't score a touchdown. And number two, whether the game keeps going or it doesn't keep, like if you think that the game ends when you score a touchdown, wouldn't you still be trying really hard to score a touchdown? How does anything change? I understand, like I said, Donovan McNabb all those years ago got crushed, and rightfully so, for not knowing that you could tie at the end of overtime. He thought the game keeps going. That makes a major difference. If you don't know that there could be a tie, you're not going to have the urgency. Maybe you're not going to play as fast. Maybe the clock's winding down or the play clock's winding down. You don't care because there's not a tie. We're going to go into double overtime. That makes a major difference. Not knowing that a touchdown doesn't end the game doesn't make any kind of a difference. You're still going to be trying to score a touchdown. And then when you score that touchdown, you think it's over. Okay, but it's not. They're still going to get the ball. So what? So what? Why does it change anything? The only person who needs to know the rules there is the person who's in charge of the strategy and essentially calling the plays as well. And that's the head coach. It doesn't matter if the players know. It doesn't matter. Now, if you want to debate whether or not Kyle Shanahan chose to get the ball first because he actually didn't know the change in rules, hey, that's totally possible. Now, he claims that he knew. He just wanted to get the ball third for a sudden death, meaning they score, the Niners score a touchdown, the Chiefs score a touchdown, you then get 2 out of 3 possessions because you get the ball now in sudden death with a chance to score. I think that theory is flawed, not just because the Chiefs may have gone for 2 and then the game's over. I don't care about that. You could stop them and then the game's over. It's flawed because you want to go second, meaning you get 4 downs. Knowing what's in front of you, you get an extra down, and that is enormous. It's enormous to be able to have 4 downs instead of 3 downs. And by the way, here's where it's also flawed, because if you're Shanahan and you're so you feel that Mahomes is going to score on his end, so you want the ball first, so this way Mahomes scores, you expect that you then get the ball sudden death with a chance to win it, that's fine. But if that's the case, if that's your strategy, then you can't settle for a field goal when you have the ball first. You have to try and score a touchdown. If you want the ball first because you're so, not confident that your defense can be able to stop Mahomes, that you want the ball back for sudden death, then you have to go for a touchdown on the first possession. You can't settle for the field goal. So I have to choose to acknowledge that Shanahan knew the rules because he says he did, but I think the strategy is very, very seriously flawed. Very flawed. So that's still dominating all the headlines. The Mahomes stuff, is he the greatest? Shanahan, overtime, embarrassing for the 49ers. What I definitely do not agree with is all the Shanahan can't win big stuff. The 3 Super Bowls he's lost. one of them as an assistant, were the two quarterbacks, Brady, Mahomes. Take it easy. He's lost to Brady and Mahomes. Like, what are we doing? It does not mean that Kyle Shanahan cannot win big games when the two quarterbacks he has lost to are like unanimously considered the all-time greatest. I mean, take a step back for a second. Kyle Shanahan is a great coach. He'll likely be back.